Hi, I'm Michele from the Portland Public Library in Portland, Maine. Thanks for joining me for a read aloud of Moth, an evolution story written by Isabel Thomas, illustrated by Daniel Agneas, and published by Bloomsbury Children's Book. This is the story of light and dark, of change and adaptation, of survival and hope. It starts with a little moth. A shiny cocoon wiggled and jiggled in the moonlight. Something was waking up from a long winter's sleep. 6 little legs uncurled, 2 tiny antennae unfurled, and 4 salt and pepper wings stretched and quivered in the breeze. But hungry predators were nearby. Quickly, the moth flew away. The peppered moth joined other pepper moths. Most had speckled, freckled wings. But sometimes a peppered moth was born with wings as dark as charcoal. The moths flittered and fluttered, skittered and swooped, and looped the loop all night long. They looked for food and tried not to get eaten themselves. Oh no, a bat! When the sun rose, the peppered moths dozed on lichen-covered branches. Silent, still, they hid. Someone else was looking for food. Who was the best hidden? Who would survive? Silent, still, the speckled moths seemed to disappear, but charcoal black wings were easy to spot on the pale branches. Dark-colored moths made a feast for hungry chicks. The speckled freckled moths had the best camouflage. Their salt and pepper wings kept them safe from hungry eyes. They laid eggs of their own. The new moths had salt and pepper wings too. Every year, the same thing happened. Hundreds of tiny eggs hatched. The moths with the best camouflage survived long enough to have offspring and pass on their salt and pepper wings. This is why most peppered moths were speckled and freckled. But then the world began to change. People built factories and burned coal to power magnificent machines. They made steam trains to take things here, there, and everywhere. Chimneys filled the air with smoke and soot. Pollution stained the clouds and blackened the branches where peppered moths slept. A bird went hunting for a snack. Now the world was darker. Which moths were disguised? Which moths would survive? Now, the darkest moths had the best camouflage. Their charcoal-colored wings kept them safe from hungry eyes. Now they lived long enough to lay eggs of their own. And their wing color passed on to their offspring. And their offspring's offspring. 50 years later, there were just as many peppered moths as ever, but most were charcoal colored. The speckled, freckled moths were rare. The moths adapted to changes in the world. But that's not how the story ends. Next time you scramble through a forest or run around a backyard, be silent, be still. Look closely at the trees. You might spot a moth with wings as dark as charcoal or a moth with speckled, freckled wings because people decided to clean up the air. They burned less coal and found new ways to power machines. Year by year by year, cities grew greener. The air all around became cleaner, and the trees shed their sooty bark. Now, the speckled, freckled moths are camouflaged once more and live long enough to pass their salt and pepper wings to their offspring. Today, both colors of moths find places to hide and survive. They are still telling their story of light and dark, of change and adaptation, of survival. And hope. The end. Thank you for joining me to read Moth, an Evolution Story, written by Isabel Thomas, illustrated by Daniel Agneas, and published by Bloomsbury Children's Books. I'm Michele at the Portland Public Library, and I'll see you next time. Bye.